The Fisheries Council have come to a final decision on the reform of the Common Fisheries Policy. This hopefully will mark the end of the line for major reform of this huge common policy that covers all our fishing fleets across the whole of the EU. This has been 3 or 4 years' work in the making, and we must now work hard to try and complete this activity before the end of the Irish presidency, which of course is due to end at the end of June. At the beginning of July we have the Lithuanian presidency, and when the Lithuanians take over they have a packed agenda which is not going to really give any time for them to deal with fisheries matters. It's important to understand that we have to compromise now with some of the decisions that have been taken by the Council of Ministers. I think Parliament's position voted in Strasbourg was a very hard position on fisheries, driven by, to a great extent, celebrity chefs and public opinion, particularly on the controversial issue of discards. Parliament decided that there should be a complete ban on discards, that there should be no flexibility at all. The Council of Ministers have now agreed that fishermen can continue to throw up to 5% of fish dead back into the water. Now, the public may find this difficult to understand, but let me explain. If a fishing boat is many hundreds of miles off the coast of Scotland, say off Rockall, and the skipper pulls in 30 tons of tiny non-commercial fish. Now the skipper, if there is a total ban on discards, is going to be forced to sail all the way back to port in Fraserburgh, Peterhead, expending hours of his days at sea allowance, using up hundreds of gallons of fuel, and by the time he gets back to port, the fish will be stinking and only fit to put in landfill. So it remains absolutely sensible and logical that that fish, provided it's properly logged in the electronic logbook, provided it's properly monitored, can continue to be dumped over the side, not least because it provides interesting feeding material for bird life and for other fish species. So there has to be an understanding of the logic and the realism of the fishing industry, and not simply knee-jerk reaction to what celebrity chefs and petitions with hundreds of thousands of names have been calling for. The other key issue is regionalisation. We have a once-in-a-generation chance under this reform to claw back power from the Brussels bureaucrats and give it back to the stakeholders, the fishermen, the scientists in the member states under this reform package. That's what the Council are recommending, and we have to compromise from the Parliament's viewpoint and accept that. I hope we are now at the end of the line, and I hope we are going to get a great reform of the Common Fisheries Policy which will be a benefit to all our fishermen.